So you're spending all this time planning the program for your fundraising event. And you are really honed in on the fundraising potential that's inherent in the special appeal, which is your number one moneymaker the night of your event. And if you're not spending your time there, I'd encourage you to do so. So thinking about the special appeal, the problem we encounter most is that folks don't execute one of the three mandatory components to a special appeal. So I want to walk through what those three elements are so that you're not leaving money on the table at your next special appeal. The biggest and primary element of your special appeal is thinking about a story. We recommend a story of one person, one story of impact that tells very simply, the shape of it is who they were before they came into contact with your organization, the contact they came into, you as the change agent that helped them change their life, and who they are after. Simple before, during, and after. Tell that story. You can tell that story in video. You can tell that story with the person on stage telling their own story, but developing that story and making sure it's done well should take a good amount of your time. So if they're telling it from the stage, you really want to work with them in advance to see what they want to say, help them shape the story, help them feel comfortable on stage and in the room. They're going to be nervous, and that will endear them to the audience, but you don't want them to be paralyzed. So working with them in advance and being a partner with them in telling their story can actually really be a moment of empowerment. So you want to get the special appeal story dialed in really, really well. And whether you're doing it via video or on the stage, the second component is the ask. Often we see folks tell the story and then try to collect the money, but they haven't asked anybody to give. It's simple. It doesn't have to be long and belabored, but you need somebody to take the stage and look at the audience and say, this is the kind of impact you're helping make happen. Please give tonight and give generously. The most impactful way to do that is to have the person whose story you told be the one that is on stage making the ask. So if you're using a video of that person, as the video finishes, have someone introduce that person to the stage and then have that person take the stage. A super magic thing happens when people realize that that's a real person in the room with them tonight. They want to stand up and support them and support their journey. And so you are naturally creating momentum in the room by virtue of that person taking the stage. And then they'll actually have a response to the audience. Often they'll look out, when's the last time they got a standing ovation from a whole room of people, right? And they'll have an earnest, honest, humane reaction to that. And the audience will react to that. So you've got this build on build on build that's happening at the same time that this person is getting ready to ask these people to donate to this organization. So can be this really, really magic moment where you're actually creating momentum in the room by virtue of that person just taking the stage and asking for money. So that person takes the stage, asks for money, and then you need to collect the money. If you don't collect the money, you will never hit the goals you could have had you done it. There are a few different ways you can collect the money. Often and most actively, we recommend with a bid card. Everybody gets a bid card, and at predetermined levels, you go through from highest to lowest, and you collect the money in the room with the bid card. What that does as well is it taps into the donors' want to be seen donating. It's a very public way for them to be recognized for their gift. If you can't use bid cards, we suggest an active envelope collection. Instead of just leaving a pile of envelopes on the table when people come in and expecting them to fill them out, pass them out. After the ask has been made, say volunteers are coming through the room now with envelopes. Please fill them out. Have your volunteers go through the room with piles and hand them to someone at the table and ask them to pass them around. There's a psychology to when you hand something to someone, they're more often able to return it to you. So you'll see an increase in giving. Ask them to pass them around the table and then collect them. Say 5 minutes later in the program, volunteers are moving through to collect your envelopes. Please hold them up. Again, engages that donor behavior to be seen giving in a room. Volunteers will come through and collect the envelopes. Station volunteers at the door when folks are exiting so that they have a place to put their envelopes if they didn't have them collected during the program. But it's super imperative that you give donors a way to give. They want to give, they're ready to give, but they won't give if you don't give them the mechanism to do it. So the story, the ask, the collection. 3 must-have parts to the special appeal. If you aren't doing one of them, you're missing a component to move your donor along that active engagement path. To learn more about how to make a special appeal more effective, join us at Elevate, a fundraising conference specifically for nonprofit fundraising events. We want to help your event be the best that it can be and raise the most money that it can.